he said, the kid is good. This did happen. And I saw this shot, I'm like, oh, you know, that spun him.
That's hurting.
Yeah, that spun him. When you get one, and it's not legal, but so we're the ones that are making an issue about, you know, or bringing up the subject about being hit on the back of the head.
He's exceptional, boys. He is what he is, and he's outstanding. He really, really is. I told everyone. The only
sick fight against Moses Itauma, and he will do because he loves his boxing and he knows that's a really, really interesting, juicy fight. But I agree with you. You know,
Johnny Nelson was blunt, warning Dubois that he's walking into danger, saying Moses isn't just talented, he's a wrecking ball. This could finish Dubois before he peaks. Carl Froch didn't hold back either, adding, if Dubois takes this fight now, it's career suicide. When two respected British voices sound this alarm, it tells you everything. Dubois may be brave, but Moses Itauma is simply too dangerous right now.
Dylan signed for the fight against Moses. I knew he was cashing out because that's saying, even Eddie, his opponent's thinking, that kid's too dangerous. So why would Eddie advise AJ to have some of that? You just wouldn't.
Moses explains why even he stays cautious when letting his punches go. Moses shows the maturity of a seasoned fighter despite his young age, admitting that every clean shot he lands is followed by discipline. A quick step out, no reckless risks. That's the mark of a future champion. Aggression balanced with caution. As Carl Froch said, the best young fighters aren't just explosive, they're smart enough to stay out of danger. Moses is proving he's not just a powerhouse, but a thinker inside the ring.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I need to be a little bit more cautious than I thought. That's why every time I did land a punch, I took a step out just to make sure I'm not going to be on the receiving end of like a shot, one of them. Who's it called? A Cossack shot. Yeah. I didn't want to be on the receiving end on one of them, so.
Frank Warren hails Moses as a prodigy, noting his variety, precision, and maturity beyond his years. At just 19, he looks like a complete heavyweight, already ranked high. That's why Dubois chasing him now feels reckless, even dangerous for his career.
He's ranked #1 and he's ranked by all the governing bodies quite high, and you can see why. But he is a sensational fighter, and it's not just about, you know, hype. You've got to look at him. You think about his age. You think about, you know, and most heavyweights when they turn pro, and how seasoned they are before they, you know, they get jumped up and put into these positions. This boy is a prodigy. He's something extra special. For me, he's the best young fighter at this age.
Paul Smith admits Dubois is improving, but he's never fully convinced, saying, I've never been completely in the Dubois boat. That hesitation says it all. Moses is rising fast, while Dubois still has flaws. A clash now could expose Daniel badly, ruining his rebuilding momentum.
Would you put him in with Dubois?
I'd put him in with Dubois, yeah. But again, that's just me. I'm not completely in the Dubois boat, and never really have been from what I've seen of him in the past and what I've watched. I think there's a lot that he can work on, and he is working on, by the way, and he's improving a lot. And he did unbelievably well against Anthony Joshua, and got my full respect for that. And I thought he did really good. And his attitude, his demeanour is changing a bit, but you know.
Next, Eddie Hearn calls Moses a nightmare for every heavyweight. Eddie Hearn captures the truth with his blunt verdict: Moses is a problem for everybody. When a promoter of Hearn's stature says this, you know the hype is real. Dubois isn't just chasing a fight, he's chasing danger that could ruin him against a 19-year-old phenom.
Moses is a problem for everybody. AJ, Usyk, Fury, it doesn't matter who they are, but it's like, I don't.
Eddie Hearn warns that Moses' career must be handled with care. At just 20, he's already too good for his age, but Frank Warren knows the timing. Throwing Dubois at him too soon doesn't just risk Dubois, it risks unleashing Moses into the heavyweight spotlight too early.
Or he might knock him out, I don't know, but personally, at 20, you know, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing, and I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of test. Yeah.
Dubois' anger after being called a quitter shows how much Moses is inside his head already. Fighters don't get rattled by words unless they hit the truth. And if Dubois can't handle the verbal shots, how will he cope when Moses' punches start flying?
I heard a lot of people saying that after the Parker thing, that I'm ducking people, but right now I just want to deck someone.
So you'll have any one of those names right now?
Hey?
I said, do you have any of those names right now?
Dubois insists he's ready to give everything to become champion again, but words don't erase doubts. Fans still remember him quitting under pressure. Against Moses, it's not about goals or dreams. It's about surviving against a fearless teenager who smells weakness and hunts it down.
Thinking about moving forward and how I can improve myself, and yeah, that was my decision. You know, I'm willing to give everything I've got. Everything I've got left now, at this stage of my career, and you know, become two-time heavyweight champion of the world. That's my goal. I'm willing to do anything to get to that.
Frank Warren highlights the fine balance of managing a prodigy like Moses Itauma. Despite having no senior amateur background, Moses is already moving through the ranks faster than expected. That's why timing is crucial. Too quick, and you risk derailing a rare talent. Too slow, and you waste the momentum. Frank's caution shows just how highly they rate Moses's potential. As Johnny Nelson once put it, when a fighter skips levels this fast, you protect him not because he's weak, but because he's special, and that's exactly why Dubois should think carefully before signing on the dotted line.
Is managing him. You got to be careful. Just slow it down a bit, Moses.
You know, the name of the game in promoting and managing is when you've, especially young fighters, is bringing them in and grounding them. Learn their trade, and he's doing it very, very quickly. But you got to remember where the background he come from. He never had a senior amateur bout. They were junior amateur bouts. You know, we did a deal with him when he was 16, and in that time when he was junior, he won the European Championships, knocked everybody out in the first round, and in the World Championships, if he didn't knock them out, he put them on the floor, and he knocked most of them out.
Next, Moses himself sends a chilling warning to Dubois. Moses Itauma shows respect to Dubois, calling him a good fighter with a solid career, but then delivers the kind of warning only a fearless young lion can. To him, this matchup isn't a question of if, it's simply when. That's the difference between a man rebuilding and a teenager rising. One talks about survival, the other about destiny. Moses is calm, confident, and unshaken, already seeing the fight as inevitable. This isn't hype or trash talk, it's belief, and belief at 20 years old, with the skills to back it up, is exactly why Dubois should worry.
You have to rate Daniel. Obviously, he's a very, very, very good fighter. Obviously, to his career that he's had so far. But I feel like when me and him meet, it's going to be a different story. It's just a matter of time, really, isn't it?
Dubois speaks with ambition, talking about belts and the next step, but the shadow of Moses Itauma looms large. While Daniel dreams of becoming a two-time champion, the reality is that Moses is the name fans and pundits keep bringing up. The danger isn't imagined, it's real. Carl Froch captured the risk perfectly, saying Dubois talks about titles, but if he takes Moses too soon, those dreams vanish overnight. Dubois' words reveal hunger, but hunger alone won't survive against a 20-year-old phenom who's already breaking through the heavyweight ranks faster than anyone expected. For Dubois, Moses is the nightmare step.
We're going to go in for this next step.
Who is next? Is Moses Itauma on the horizon?
All the guys in the heavyweight division, yeah, they're all the guy, especially the one who has the belts. And you know, if the belts fragment or whatever, stuff like that can happen. Whatever way I can become two-time heavyweight champion. That's where I'm going.
Next, Tony Bellew digs into Dubois' mentality in the ring. Tony Bellew's analysis cuts straight to the heart of the problem with Dubois. Mentality. Against Usyk, Dubois landed one clean shot, then faded when the storm hit back. That's not just a tactical flaw, that's a mindset issue. Heavyweight boxing isn't about having power alone, it's about having the courage to dig deep when things turn ugly. Bellew paints a picture of a fighter who can bully from the front but struggles under pressure. And if that weakness shows against a seasoned champion like Usyk, what happens when he steps in with a fearless 20-year-old phenom like Moses Itauma? This is the gulf between ambition and resilience, and Dubois still hasn't proved he can cross it.
Success, guys. He landed one decent body shot the whole fight, to which Usyk tapped his belly and just said, "What was that?" And then there was zero else coming back. And that's, in my opinion, that's the attitude and that's the mentality of a guy that when the going gets tough, he doesn't want to fight. And you can never change that.
Carl Frampton gives Dubois credit for improving, calling him a better fighter now than he was before, but even that praise comes with hesitation. Yes, Dubois looks sharper and has matured in certain areas, but the doubts about his resilience remain. Becoming more dangerous doesn't erase the fact that he's been broken before under the bright lights. In contrast, Moses Itauma is showing signs of greatness at an age where most heavyweights are still learning their craft. This fight isn't about skill alone, it's about composure under fire. Frampton's words highlight that Dubois has a chance, but the bigger truth is that Moses represents a different kind of challenge, one built on hunger, youth, and unshakable belief.
Dubois is certainly a much more dangerous fighter than he was, so he does have a chance to win the fight, but in saying that, I've backed against Usyk a couple of times, and specifically
This is where everything comes together. Daniel Dubois may talk about belts and ambition, but legends are united in their warning. Johnny Nelson has already said, Moses isn't just talented, he's a wrecking ball. This could finish Dubois before he peaks. And Carl Froch didn't mince his words either, reminding everyone, if Dubois takes this fight now, it's career suicide. These aren't casual comments, they're the voices of men who know the game inside out. Moses Itauma is young, fearless, and rising like a storm, while Dubois is still trying to rebuild after cracks have already shown. If they meet now, it's not just a fight, it's a gamble with Dubois' future. So let's put it to you, who do you think comes out on top if this clash happens? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the debate today.